Hey Bayek, it's me Ian. And in today's video, well, I'm looking at this. This is Spring and Port Wine from 1970. I love this film. This film is just so spot on. Again, it reflects so much of that period in time that you just look back nostalgically, and it reminds me so much some of these things from my own childhood and the environment that I lived in. And it's a great look at working class life. It really is. And this was written by Bill Norton, and it's based on his 1967 play, Spring and Port Wine. And it's directed by Peter Hammond, who, in fact, only directed, this is his only film he directed. He went on to do a lot of TV films and TV series, but this is a great feature film to have done. Now, the cinematography is interesting. It's by Norman Warwick. Now, he did this cinematography on Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, 1971, which is, you know how good that film is. And the abominable, Dr. Phibes, 1970. And the British sex comedy, Confessions of a Window Cleaner, 1974. Also, he did, this is a real oddity, he did the cinematography on Son of Dracula, 1974, which was a musical released by Apple Films. That might be a big clue, because it's got Ringo Starr in it. There you are, the Beatles connection, and Harry Nilsson. I've heard this one popping up a few times. It just fascinates me, you know, that this musical was there. I don't know. It could well have been a flop. I don't know, because you don't hear a great deal about it. But there it is. This is amazing. We've got as a film. In this film, I'm just, the talent here is British talent at its best, and that's reflected in the film. It's good to see a British film like this. You know, we get so much Hollywood films. Therefore, when we get British films, I'm just full of it. I seem to be really patriotic about British films. Well, it is good to see them, isn't it? And of course, the big bonus for me is that's one of my favourite actors, and that is James Mason. James Mason, he plays Ralph Compton. This actor, born in Huddersfield, Yorkshire, of course. Yorkshire, man, has to be good, doesn't it? Same as with Patrick Stewart. But I always bring that in when I bring James Mason. But you just look at James Mason, his career is amazing. The films he was involved in, right from 1935, so he goes back to that era of the 30s. Late Extra was his first film in 1935. And then there were lots of films as he progressed along, like Fanny by Gaslight, 1944, The Seventh Veil. I love The Seventh Veil. What a film that is! It is just, it's out of this world. I've got that in my collection. Yes. And then The Wicked Lady, of course, 1945. And then I think the films that really stand out, of course, he was in The Desert Fox, 1941, and also The Desert Rats of 1953, where he played the German, many consider him an absolute military genius, Rommel. He plays Rommel, and he is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. If you look at the history of Rommel, it is fascinating. And of course, he's one of the conspirators who was involved in trying to assassinate Hitler. Absolutely amazing film. Both of them, with James Mason, of course, and Julius Caesar. That is also worth mentioning. He was involved in his role the same year as Julius Caesar. Fantastic. And A Star is Born. He was in the Judy Garland version of Star is Born, 1954. Fantastic. Then a lot of people might remember him as 2000 Leagues Under the Sea, 1954, a film that I've talked about, and I think I've reviewed that. I love that. And then he was in one of Hitchcock's classic films as a brilliant villain, which of course is North by Northwest, 1959. I mean, what can you say about that? Journey to the Center of the Earth as well. He was in that one at the same time. And then notoriously is in Lolita, 1962, which is quite a controversial film. He was in The Fall of the Roman Empire, a great historical film, 1964. I mean, these are great. And of course, a film that I've talked about, I have in my collection, Georgie Girl, 1966. And a war film that I remember going to see and loving. He's a German in that. He's good at playing Germans as well. The Blue Max, 1966, which is a First World War film. It was in Great Expectations, 1974, and brilliant, absolutely brilliant as the convict. He was in Voyage of the Damned, a film that often comes up, 1976. And of course, he was in Cross of Iron, 1977. The North Sea Hijack, yes, 1980. Roger Moore, brilliant, he's in that film. He was on Agatha Christie film, Evil Under the Sun. Yellowbeard, yes, 1983. And The Shooting Party, 1985. And what can I say? These are just some of his films, and I've only just touched the surface. And of course, I loved him in the TV miniseries horror one, Salem's Lot. Remember Salem's Lot? That's from 1979. He was brilliant. He was in that. Oh, fantastic. Then we've got Diane Coupland, who plays his wife, Daisy Compton. She's a face, she's recognised straight away. Bless This House. Yes, she starred in Bless This House with Sid James. And that ran from 1971 to 1976, where she played Jean Abbott. They also did the feature film, which was from 1972. Now, here's a nice bit of trivia for you Bond fans. I just discovered this, that the voice that we hear in Dr. No singing, which is, we see Ursula Andress singing, it's actually the dubbed voice of Diane Coupland singing Under the Mango Tree. There you are. Amazing. Yes. And then we've got another very familiar face who pops up all over the place. She is such a talented actress. Susan George. What an actress. Just amazing. She plays Hilda Compton. She's brilliant as the daughter. Again, you just look at her films. I just highlights of her films. I mentioned The Sorceress, 1967. Up the Junction, 1968. The Looking Glass War, 1970, a Cold War film. Die Screening, Marion, 1971, which is a Pete Walker exploitation kind of film, which I've reviewed and I've got in my collection. And of course, I've got Straw Dogs. That's the infamous film that she was in. It is a brilliant film, controversial, but she's in that. And of course, Hollywood came and Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, 1974. She was in that. Then a film that I've reviewed as well recently, 1981's Venom. Yes, of course, she was in Venom. And then you look and she pops up in TV all over doing series and TV films and just amazing. Absolutely love her. And then Rodney Bewes. Oh, wow. Rodney Bewes is in this. I mean, what can you say about Rodney Bewes? He is just superb. He plays, again, the oldest son in this family. And there he is. But, of course, you just see him. I just see him all the time. The Likely Lads, 1964 to 66. And whatever happened to the Likely Lads... 1973 to 74, you just can't help but think of him in that. He just is. The Likely Lads, it's the connection is there. Oh, brilliant. He's absolutely superb. And of course, I have to mention it because I'm a Doctor Who fan. He appeared in Doctor Who in 1984. Resurrection of the Daleks, which was, I say, 1984, and a Fifth Doctor story. And I think I'm getting closer to reviewing that very soon because I'm going through the Fifth Doctor in my reviews. So it's probably going to pop up soon. Then we've got Hannah Gordon, who plays Florence Compton. Now, I recognised her from... I used to watch this sitcom. It didn't last very long. She was with John Alderton in My Wife Next Door, which, incidentally, was created by Brian Clemens, who was, of course, the creator of The Avengers and New Avengers. And that was from 1972, that sitcom. And that's how I remember her. But she's, again, another has appeared in lots and lots of things. Amazing. And then... you may notice a few other faces popping up. One, we've got Frank Windsor playing Ned Duckworth, and he was in, of course, Softly Softly and Z-Cars, and he was brilliant. He was the Detective Sergeant Watt, and of course, him and Barlow were the great duet of police detectives. They were superb. You look back in all that era, yeah, those were great. And that's Frank Windsor, one actor. You may also just spot in this film Arthur Lowe and Bernard Breslow. They pop up. You see these faces. I love it in British films when you just see faces, think, oh wow, it's them. So this film is so good. It is about really. It's set in Bolton, and it's about working class life. Really, putting it there. And we've got James Mason, who's playing the father, who is quite a stern figure. Who he dominates. It's his law and his way, and there is no other way. That's it. And he's very. All that very traditional, the way he sets it down, and he's the way he is. And his wife, beautifully played, is also amazing. Diane Coupland just plays her so well. She's protective of her children. She's more lenient. She's more. She'll do do the best for her children and trying to protect them, not making sure that they get into trouble. But she loves her husband. She's a loyal wife, and and that is a nice thing that we do see in this. And we learn, as what I like about this film is the journey we get. We get this impression about him, but we do learn a lot more in the end about why the way he is, and that maybe he's not what we thought he was. And it's a beautiful film. The way it ends, you know, the conclusion of it. You understand the film and the journey of these characters. And I say, James Mason, you can't beat him. He's just outstanding. This is a great performance. I just, but he never does bad performances. He's just such a great actor. He really is. And if you've not seen this film, you should see it. It's really grand. It really is. It's brilliant. Here's my DVD copy of it. There it is. Brilliant. I should upgrade sometime, I think, to a Blu-ray on this film. It is superb. I loved it. And it's good that, you know, I just love film how you can watch so many contrasts of genres, and this film just takes me back to that era. It just takes me back to childhood. It's so authentic, as I said, I think at the beginning. You can feel my own childhood in this film. The sights and sounds are just there. It's everything about it, you know, is just fantastic. I loved it. I absolutely adored this film. I can't say any more about it, but there it is. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And we'll let you know when I put out these videos. And you can look in the playlist and you can see all the films that I've reviewed. You'll find something, I'm sure, hopefully, in there. And also, if you look also in the playlist, you see that I do TV series as well. Also, I do a bit of music sometimes. Yeah, so yeah, you might find something. And as I say, if you like this video as well, please give this video a like. If you give it a like, it gets it out onto YouTube, so other people might enjoy it as well, and it really helps my channel. If you got any comments, please put your comments down. I love to read your comments, and I'll always reply to them. And that's it. So all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.